Good morning, students. Welcome to the biology class. I'm Ejisar with you, lecturer in biology, St. Gregory's High School and College. Today, our topic is nervous tissue and structure of a neuron. So, let's start the class for today. Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is a term for groups of some organized cells in the nervous system, which is the organ system that controls the body's movements, sends and carries signals to and from the different parts of the body, and has a role in controlling bodily functions such as digestion. Nervous tissue is grouped into two main categories: neurons and neuroglia. Neurons or nerves transmit electrical impulses while neuroglia don't. Neuroglia have some other functions including supporting and protecting neurons. As you know, neurons, they are the nerve cells and they can't divide. They can't have any kind of cell division on them. But neuroglia, these are the cell, they can divide, they can have a cell division. That's why we can have a brain tumor. Suppose someone have a brain tumor, what is a tumor? Tumor is a result of some uncontrollable mitosis cell division. So that uncontrollable cell division might occur in these neuroglial cells, not in neurons. Nervous tissue makes up the nervous system. The nervous system is subdivided in several overlapping ways: the central nervous system, or you may call it CNS, and peripheral nervous system, or you may call it PNS. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and spinal cord, which coordinates information from all areas of the body and sends nerve impulses that control all bodily movements. The peripheral nervous system consists of peripheral nerves that branch all throughout the body. It connects the CNS or central nervous system to the rest of the body and is directly responsible for controlling movements of specific parts of the body. For example, just before arm movement, the CNS or central nervous system sends nerve impulses to the PNS or peripheral nervous system nerves in the arm, which causes the arm to move. That means the both central nervous system and peripheral nervous system are working together for our movements, for our different kind of impulses. So that was all about nervous tissue. If you have any kind of question or doubt in this topic, you may ask in the comment box. Our next topic is structure of a neuron. So what is a neuron? Neurons are also known as nerve cells. They usually send and receive signals from our brain. While neurons have a lot of in common with other types of cells. They're structurally and functionally totally unique from other cells. Okay, we know uh, the cells, they might have a cell membrane, they might have some mitochondria, some Golgi body or Golgi apparatus, ribosome, some cell vacuoles, centriole or centrosome. Uh, there might have some lysosome, different kinds of organelles. But in here, it is slightly different. The structure of neuron is slightly different. Their function is different than other cells. Specialized projections called axons allow neurons to transmit electrical and chemical signals to other cells. That means neurons are transporting or transmitting some signals from one to another neurons. And thus, different kinds of impulses are moving throughout all of our body. Okay. At birth, the human brain consists of an almost estimated 100 billion neurons. Okay, as I said, unlike some other cells, neurons don't reproduce or regenerate. They don't reproduce or regenerate. That means there is no cell division. Okay, they aren't replaced once they die. If some of the neuron cells have died, that means that place remain empty. No other neuron cells will take their place. The creation of new nerve cells is called neurogenesis. As you know, genesis means to create. Genesis means to create. Neurogenesis means neuron creation, some nerve cells creations. While this process isn't well understood, it may occur in some parts of the brain after birth. Okay. So now come to the types of neuron. How many types of neuron are here? There are three types of neuron: sensory neurons, motor neurons, and interneurons. What is sensory neurons? The sensory neurons convert signals from the external environment into corresponding internal stimuli. The sensory inputs activate the sensory neurons and carry sensory information to the brain and spinal cord. They are pseudo unipolar in structure. That means totally confusing structures. Pseudo means they are not actual real. They are not actually real. Okay. So what is the function of these sensory neurons? What they help us? Sensory neurons help us to taste, to smell, to hear, to see, or to feel things around us. Okay. Sensory neurons are triggered by physical and chemical inputs from the environment, from around our environment. Okay. You can feel sound, you can hear sound, you can touch. If you touch something, you can feel it. You can feel the heat, you can see the light. These are the functions of sensory neurons. So what is motor neurons? Motor neurons play a role in movement, including voluntary and involuntary movements. These neurons allow the brain and spinal cord to communicate with muscles, organs, and glands all over the body. When you eat, for instance, your motor neurons in your spinal cord send signals to the smooth muscles in your esophagus, stomach, and intestines. These muscles contract, which allows food to move through your digestive tract. Okay, so motor neurons do this kinds of work in your body. All kind of voluntary and involuntary movements are in are regulated by these motor neurons. So next, what is interneurons? What does it do? What do they do? Interneurons are some kind of neurons. Actually, they are very most common type of neuron. Okay, you can find them in your brain and as well as in your spinal cord. They pass signals from sensory neurons and other interneurons to motor neurons and other interneurons. That means they're all connected by sensory neurons and motor neurons. Okay. So now let's jump to the parts of neuron. How many parts are there? What do they do? Let's jump to it. So you may see it here. There are different parts are here. Neurons actually divided into two parts: cell body and elongated part. In cell body, you may see it's also known as soma. You may call it soma as well. The cell body carries genetic information, maintains the neuron structure, and provides energy to drive activities. Okay. And each neuron cell body with a nucleus, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, and some other components. That means in here they have some similarities with some other cells who have nucleus, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, and different some other cell organelles. Okay. So what is that elongated part? What is the function of that elongated part? That elongated part actually are of two types. One is dendron and one is axon. You may call it dendrites as well instead of dendron. Dendrites are fibrous roots that branch out from the cell body. Okay. Dendrites receive and process like signals from the axons of other neurons, like antenna. You may see it antenna from TV antenna, from mobile antenna. Okay, if you go to early 90s, you may see it TV antenna. Okay. I think you haven't seen any kind of mobile antennas in this era because nowadays mobile is going too fast technologies and there is no need of any kind of antennas. But once I can remember in my life, once I take my first mobile in 2003, then the mobile I used, I think that was the brand of Siemens mobile company. That mobile has an antenna in the upper side of it. Before calling anyone, I have to pull up the antenna to call anyone, and after finishing my call, I have to pull down, put it back, that antenna in its place again. That means antenna is a thing that connects or that helps to connect. Okay, so dendrites here receives and process signals from the axons of other neurons. Okay, neurons can have more than one set of dendrites known as dendritic trees. That means it looks like trees. Okay, so I hope you have understood what I meant here. Uh, they're always taking or receiving messages from other neurons and allowing the transmission of messages to the cell body. That's the work of dendrites, or there's the function of dendrites. Now come to the axon. What is axon? I should have put a diagram of the neuron here. It's my mistake. I admit that. I actually forgot to put a neuron structure here. So I hope you will understand. And before reading this topic, please open your book, open your textbook, and find the structure of that neuron, and then start reading this topic and hear this lesson. Okay. So what is axon? What is the function of axon? So axon is a long tail-like structure, that which joins the cell body at a specialized junction called the axon hillock. Axon hillock. Many axons are insulated with a fatty substance called myelin. And this myelin sheath, you may call myelin sheath as well. Okay, actually there is a cell in axon called Schwann cell. These Schwann cells are a type of glial cells of the peripheral nervous system that help to form the myelin sheath around this axon. Okay, so what's the function of this myelin? Myelin helps axon to conduct an electrical signal. Neurons generally have one main axon. Okay, all neurons generally have one main axon. Okay, so these are the functions of axon and dendron. But last not the least, synapse. What is synapse? In a very short thing, it is the chemical junction between the terminal of one neuron and dendrites of another neuron. Okay, that means it's a function, or it's a junction. It's a junction where the axon terminal of one neuron and the dendrites of another neuron connects. Okay, or joins, or they collaborate. Okay, it's a junction. What kind of junction? Chemical junction. That is called synapse. So that was the structure of a neuron, function of a neuron. I hope you have understood the class. Please don't only pick the things I have just mentioned in the slides. Please write that all things that I have described here as a CW. Okay, so that's it for today. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Maybe I have inputted a diagram here, but somehow it was disappeared. I don't know why, but as it reappeared again, so you may see it here. You may see the myelin sheath, Schwann cell, axon terminal, everything I have described in my lesson. So still, if you have any kind of question here, you may ask. So boys, stay home, stay safe. Once to go outside, definitely wear a mask. So thank you for today. Goodbye.